You know, yesterday, November 19th, was a great day in American history. The UN settled quite a few problems. Notre Dame won another football game. And Mrs. Como unbalanced the family budget by buying a 25-pound turkey. Yesterday, November 19th, was also the anniversary, the 86th anniversary of Lincoln's Gettysburg Address. That's true. Of course, I wouldn't have known either had my little daughter trapped me into helping her with her homework. Now, I was sitting in the library, and I was watching The Lone Ranger. It was pretty exciting.
Daddy! Oh, Daddy!
What do you want?
Come in here a minute, will you please, Daddy? It's awful important.
Now, look, the Lone Ranger and Tonto is in a big mess over
Father, there are a lot more important things in this world than the Lone Ranger.
Oh, yes? Well, name two.
Miss Helwick and the Gettysburg Address.
Miss Helwick and the Gettysburg. Well, you got me on the Gettysburg Address,
And
but
Miss
Miss
Helwick will get me if I don't learn it. You've got to help me memorize it, Daddy, because this is the anniversary of when Mr. Lincoln gave it. And Miss Helwick says we should know it on account of Thanksgiving's coming, and it's something to be thankful for.
Well, I think Miss Helwick is absolutely correct. So, we the people of the United States, in order to form...
That's the preamble to the Constitution.
Well, that's something to be thankful for. And besides, I just wanted to see if you were paying attention. And I think the best way to learn the Gettysburg Address is to, write it down.
Write it?
Yeah, I suppose that's the way Lincoln learned it. He wrote it over and over again.
I wish he'd never even written it once.
Oh, yes, but he did. Now, come on. Let's write it or read it. Now, look. Doesn't he look like he's studying? That's a picture of Lincoln.
Yes, Daddy, I suppose so.
Now, here's a remarkable man. Now, look, do just like Lincoln did. He wrote it over again, and in no time, you'll know it just as well as he does. Come on, start thinking.
Mr. Lincoln?
Yeah?
Mr. President Abraham Lincoln?
That's right, young lady. That's your service, ma'am.
I don't see any reason why I have to memorize your old speech. Do
Well,
you?
Well, no, I don't.
Good. I'm going to tell Miss Helwick that you said I didn't have
No, now, wait a minute, young lady.
But you said that I...
Now, listen. I don't really know what speech you're talking about. I made so many.
With the Gettysburg Address.
Gettysburg?
Oh, now, don't tell me you never heard of Lincoln's Gettysburg Address. But you had to. You made it.
Well, it seems I did. Oh, after the big battle out there. Around July, wasn't it?
I suppose so. Oh, no, it was in November, because in our school we...
Oh, November. At the dedication of the cemetery. But I never said anything that day. Mr. Everett was the speaker.
Mr. Everett?
That's right, Mr. Edward Everett. Say, they don't want you to memorize his speech, do they?
I don't think so.
Oh, that's good. I got pretty restless during his speech, though he was the finest speaker in the land. My goodness, he went on and on. I think he talked about 2 hours, and I've been riding horseback in a parade all morning.
The president rode a horse.
Well, I guess you wouldn't exactly call it riding with these long legs of mine. More like walking with a horse, walking under me.
Oh, you're funny, Mr. Lincoln.
I am?
I only miss it.
I know. Now, about this speech in the cemetery.
Yes, at Gettysburg. Now, you did make a speech.
Well, I probably made a few appropriate remarks, but...
Now, Mr. Lincoln, you know very well that you made this speech at Gettysburg. And you know very well that it's in our history book, and the Miss Helwick said I had to memorize it word for word. Maybe you can help me memorize it. Oh, would you, Mr. Lincoln? Would you, please?
Well, now, I can't imagine what I said that they put in the history books. Gettysburg.
Mr. Lincoln, would you help me memorize it, please? Would you help?
Well, I'd be happy to, but you'll have to... tell me what I said that day.
You didn't memorize your own speech?
I don't believe so.
Well. I don't know whether I should tell Miss Howick about this.
No. Please don't.
But it seems to me that if anybody should have to memorize Lincoln's Gettysburg Address, it would be you, Mr. Lincoln. So I'll have to teach it to you.
Well, now, I'd be proud to have you teach me, little lady.
Pay very close attention. 7 years ago.
7 years ago.
Our fathers brought forth. On this continent. A new nation. Conceived in liberty. And dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. We are met on a great battlefield of that war. We have come to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place of those who here gave their lives that nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. But in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate. We cannot consecrate. We cannot hallow this ground. The brave men living and dead who struggle here have consecrated it far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will little note nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. It is for us, the living, rather, to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion. That we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth.
Just wonderful. Denise, would you come out, honey? Denise? Oh, me. The wonderful little actress you saw in the play and also takes part as my daughter in a lot of little things is Miss Denise Alexander. Of course, most of you recognize the very wonderful Raymond Massey as Abraham Lincoln. Denise, it must be wonderful playing a thing like that with Mr. Massey, huh?
I should say so. He's such a fine actor that he really is Abraham Lincoln, isn't he?
Oh, yes, honey. He is the